What's up, guys? Today we're gonna build an F20b with K20 pistons. I'm gonna show you guys the way that I do it. So this is gonna be for a rear engine Honda CRX that I'm building to drag race in the quarter mile pretty much. So I'll show you guys what I got going on so far. We'll just start with the block. This is an F20b. I flip it over, but I don't want to take a chance of losing my thrust washers right there. But it is an F20b, has steel sleeves. That's why I use the F20b. This F20b is going to be using K20 pistons. There's a few different pistons you can get. I've used actually all of them at this point. You can get a K20, I believe it's an A2, which is like has a dish actually on the top, and it ends up putting you like 8.5 to 1 compression. It's really good for high boost, or really trying to push these motors high on boost, but it kind of makes them really laggy, and I haven't really liked that piston too much ever since I've been running one that has higher compression. The other option you got is, I believe, I think it's called an A3, or it's basically like a SI piston. It has a little more dome. It puts you around like 10 to 1 or 9.5 to 1. It definitely helps you get a lot more response out of the turbo and a lot more bottom end when you build these type of motors. This piston right here is this newest one I'm going to try. This is actually a Type R piston. Has a little bit more dome than an SI piston, so it should put me closer to 10.5, almost 11 to 1 compression. And this is what's called a hyper pneumatic piston. It's basically between a cast piston and a forged piston. They're rated for 600 horsepower. So that's what we're going to be using in the F20b we're building today. You do have to, the rods I'm using are stock rods, but you do have to modify the smaller end of the rod to fit between the K20 piston, because on a F20b piston, you're going to have a lot more room between the center right here. So when you go to put that rod in the center of these K-series pistons, it won't fit. So you have to take about 2 or 3 millimeters off of each side of the small end. And then, yeah, pretty much it. You'll have a little bit of a lip right here, so I normally, you can either sand it, that takes a long time, or I have like a small ball hone that I use now, and it takes that right off. So you got to modify the stock rods to fit the K-series piston. After that, this bore on this block has already been opened up. It was an 85 millimeter, but now I had it bored out to an 86 millimeter because that's the smallest K-series piston you can get. So that puts this motor right around a 2100 cc, so it makes it about a 2.1, where before it was a 2.0. So that helps you get a little more, displacement out of the motor. So that's pretty much it for modifications. You have to oversize the bore, and then you have to modify the rods. But after that, that's about it. You can actually put these pistons in either way. I've put them in with the intake facing towards the intake side, and with the intake facing towards the exhaust side. And the only difference you'll notice is that one way you'll get a little bit more piston slap in the morning, a little more noise out of the pistons pretty much. So I've opted out to put them in, if I can remember, I started putting them in, I think I just started putting them in the regular way, like they would normally go, because there wasn't much difference in the piston noise that I could remember. I'd have to double check on that. But normally you would put them in backwards, but on the last motor I just built, which made over 450 horsepower, and it went 11 seconds in a full weight Integra, that one had the pistons in regular, so the intake was actually facing towards the intake side. Which, why that matters is because this piston in a K series would rotate the opposite direction. So that's why that would matter. Anyways, so I'm going to show you guys how I build this. I got the crankshaft all cleaned up right here. I already, these bearings are used bearings that, so this crankshaft and these bearings came out of this motor I have sitting over here. It's another F20b that was a stock bore, and I was running methanol on it, and I ran out of methanol on it, and it broke all 4 ring glands on the pistons. But the crankshaft was still good, and I had already pulled the rods and pistons out to use them on to use the rods on another motor I built. So we pulled the crankshaft out of that along with the bearings, and that's what we have right over here. We got a good crankshaft, and we got some used bearings. You know, they're not perfect, but they're up to the job. So I actually had a little bit of a mark on this one, but you really can't feel it. It's just all visual. So I kind of cleaned it up with 1000 grit sandpaper and then wet sanded it so that it won't catch on anything. And then I found a little spot on the crankshaft right here, and I cleaned that off of there too. So everything should be good. Always double check your crankshaft. Make sure you guys don't have any nicks or nothing like that. You haven't whacked it with nothing when you were disassembling. You'll feel it if you know, run your fingernails along it or do a visual inspection, whatever. All right, let's go ahead and we're gonna clean this crankshaft one more time. Just gonna wipe it down, make sure there's nothing, no dust that's settled on it in the last, you know, few minutes it's been sitting here. And then we're gonna put some assembly lube that I got right here. We're gonna put some of that on the bearings, and then we'll drop the crankshaft in. We'll torque down the bolts, and then we'll fit up the pistons on the rods, hopefully, if we got time. Oh, sorry. Jeez, Nick, where's your manners, bud? Man, why does that look so dirty? Get a little wipe real quick. It just looks like that. No big deal. It just looks like that, guys. Bearings just trashed. To use a bearing, you know, no big deal. Just came out of a blown up motor. That should be solid. You know how we do it here at White Trash Racing. Give this guy a little bit extra, you know. All right, guys, there it is. mint, but so there's a torque spec, there's a sequence, right? It goes, anyways, what were we talking about? Yeah, you just tighten these things down, however you want, pretty much. I'm just kidding. But snug them down, and then go on good old Google, look up the torque spec and the torque sequence, and we're going to tighten it down. Oh, mint. Yeah, so let's see how she spins. Ooh, she spins like butter. That girl. Nice. All right, so got ourselves a crankshaft. I'm gonna torque that down. All right, so I looked up the torque spec, and it looks like it's 54 foot-pounds. Should be the same as an H22. The rod bolts are a different torque spec. They're the same as a F22 or an F23. I'm gonna have to double check those. But I don't get the rod bearings until tomorrow, so that's gonna be on a separate video. We're gonna go ahead and get these torqued down. The sequence, don't quote me, but this should work. I couldn't find the sequence, but you do wanna go in sequence. It's gonna go this one, that one, this one, that one, this one, that one, and then this one, and then that one, and then this one, and then that one. So that's how you're going to torque them, or pretty similar to that fashion, you know what I mean? It's not that important that you do exactly the way I said, but you do want to start from the middle and then work your way out. So we're going to go ahead and see if I can't torque one of these on camera, and then we'll get the rest done off camera. Just using an old click style torque wrench. This is not rocket science. There we go. So just like that, guys. I'm gonna end the video here. So if you guys did like the video, go ahead and drop us a like. If you got something to say, go ahead and make a comment. Always like to hear what you guys have to say. And of course, subscribe to the channel so you can see the next video coming on this. I do have a video I got coming soon on the Acura, but I'm not ready to make it because I've got a bunch of parts that I haven't put on completely, and I don't want to make the video until it's all the way together. So it is running and driving. It's a fully built B18B non-VTEC. It's got cam springs, retainers, ported polished, high compression pistons, rods, the whole nine, blueprinted engine, balanced. So the whole thing is, it revs 9,000 plus. It's a pretty wild. It's all motor right now. We do have plans to boost it. I need to get the power steering put on, and I need to get an AC system hooked up, because that's my biggest priority. After that, we'll put the turbo on it. But right now, we're working on the CRX. That's we're gonna have that's gonna go fast. So anyway, stay tuned for the next video, which is where we're gonna get the rod bearings. We're gonna put the rods in the motor, and then file the rings, get all the rings gapped, and get the pistons put in. I got the head over here sitting on the table right there, so we need to put that on too. And then after that, I got an Action Stage 3 clutch that we're gonna put on it. That they're only rated for like 300 horsepower, but it held 450 on the last one, so I don't see why it won't hold another 50 horsepower, hold 500. Anyways, and then we just got a stock LS transmission. But yeah, stay tuned, guys. I'll see you on the next video.